Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Saturday, February 22nd, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, Cash App $ ORIONNWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got some NBA action this Saturday night. The Charlotte Hornets versus the Portland Trailblazers. The Blazers are trying to end a 4-game skid, and LaMelo Ball comes to town. So this should be a pretty competitive matchup. Both teams are young. Both teams are hungry, and hopefully Rip City can end up getting the victory. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get settled in for some Blazer basketball. Let's get it, baby. And on the thumb, on the left, we have LaMelo Ball. And on the right, Scoot Henderson. This is going to be exciting. I haven't got a chance to watch too much of LaMelo. Obviously, I think the thumbnail turned out great. Rip City all day, every day. And it's been a pretty long and productive day. I ended up watching the NASCAR Truck Series race in entirety. I ended up watching the NASCAR Xfinity race in entirety. I ended up watching the Mariner game against the Angels in entirety. Mariners ended up losing that one. I watched pieces of the Kraken and the Panthers. And everything was great besides maybe the last inning for the Mariners against the Angels when they could have ended up winning and they gave up a couple runs late. But definitely excited about tonight. And then obviously tomorrow's stream is going to be very early. It's going to be at noon Pacific, and that's going to be the NASCAR Cup Series race at Atlanta. Napa know-how, Chase Elliott's home track. So I'll be up very early, walking the pup, getting a thumbnail made, and we'll be live just before noon, obviously when the race kicks off Pacific time tomorrow. Awesome win, 2-1. Not only beating the Panthers, but like you mentioned, beating the Panthers in Florida. Looks like a little bit of that tournament rubbed off on the Kraken, and that was an awesome win for them. 2-1 victory over the Florida Panthers. That man in the building, what's good? How are you? Sarah in the building, what's good? How are you? Let's get to 100 and donos. Let's do it. All right, let me get all situated here with all of my screens. Let's give me one sec. Hope everyone had a fantastic day. And again, there was a number of events that I could have possibly did a stream. But again, I had to take care of Paisley and kind of run some errands and whatnot. And, I figured I would just end up watching the trucks and the Xfinity on my own time, watch the Mariner game, got to see some of the young prospects, which was nice. But again, blowing a lead late in the game kind of stunk. But again, we ended up putting up more runs than the first game that we ended up losing. So Mariners right now are 0-2, obviously, in quote unquote preseason baseball. But again, I definitely am seeing some improvements. We're not having, all of our star players play just yet. Sporadically, a couple stars, a lot of backups, and we're not definitely touching a lot of our starting pitching. We don't want to have necessarily any injuries this early, but you will see some of those guys as we get closer to the regular season. So definitely excited about the progression of, Cole Young, Colt Emerson, Lazaro Montes. We got to see Harry Ford a little bit, which was cool as well. And again, just need a little bit more clutchness out of the Seattle Mariners, but they did put up 9 runs, and that is quite a bit more than I think I was expecting going into the game. But again, hopefully we can get the job done, obviously, in the next matchup. We ended up losing 11-10. So, at least we were putting up numbers, compared to the first game that we played, obviously, in spring training when we lost on Friday. When I watched that entire game, we lost to the Padres 5-2. And it didn't look very good, in that first game. But again, this game played much better. But again, not being able to hang on when you have a little bit of a lead. Literally, we were up 10-9 in the bottom of the ninth, and then the Mariners gave up 2 runs there at the very end, and then we ended up losing 11-10. Again, there are going to be, games that are going to be like that are going to hurt a lot. And there's also going to be ones where we end up making the epic comeback when we're down and we win. So, you got to take the good and the bad and the ugly. But overall, I'm great. Obviously we got NASCAR Cup Series there in Atlanta. That's Napa know-how. Chase Elliott's home track, so definitely has a legitimate shot of winning, even though they've made some adjustments to the track within the last couple years. But getting a chance to watch the Truck Series as well as the Xfinity, I kind of have an idea, on strategy and how things might be able to play out, but definitely excited for the race tomorrow. Megan with a tenor. Sorry about your severe migraine. No worries. And I did get a chance. I didn't watch the whole game because I was watching all those other things, but I did get a chance to see live Kako get the first goal, and that surprised me. Not necessarily that he got the goal. I think it's just that we scored first, and the Four Nations face-off was a huge success. Even though USA lost, again, USA and Canada brought that effort, that energy, that passion. Finland and Sweden brought it as well, and that's how you end up making a tournament a worldwide, global phenomenon. And again, I think that a lot of casual hockey fans, are going to definitely tune in a little bit more. They may not tune in the same amount as a hardcore fan, but again, just seeing the success from the Four Nations face-off will definitely carry over into the second half of the season for the NHL, and that's great. Anytime that you can end up putting a great product, on TV. I mean, when's the last time that we've actually said, as a nation or as a group or worldwide, that this tournament is awesome? There wasn't one person on planet Earth that would be like, oh, that tournament sucked. It wasn't good at all. I mean, you had energy, you had effort, you had passion, you had pride. And it definitely made some of the other events that were going on at the same time, like the NBA All-Star Weekend, look terrible. One was an A+, the other was an F. And again, it shows you what you need to do if you want to be able to grab people and get them invested in your product. And the NHL did, the NBA, unfortunately, did not. I'm sorry that you got the migraine, but let me know what you want to do for photos as we got the national anthem, and they're getting everything settled here in downtown Portland in Rip City. Appreciate you. $10 holla, 90 to go. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. Let's go. Yes, thank you so much. We're at 10, 90 to go. Yeah, it was awesome. Like I said, for a lot of people, they may have, decided to be like, well, is this really going to be something that is going to be good? Is it going to be competitive? And I think that we're just so used to seeing sports, for certain organizations where you don't see the effort, you don't see the pride, you don't see the passion. You typically see it, in every sport, pretty much, but the NBA. And again, they have a lot to learn. And I know with ESPN dropping MLB and not wanting to be able to pay like $550 million for the rights, why did you spend like $1.2 billion on the NBA? What ESPN should have done is invested more into baseball and less in basketball. But again, basketball will always have certain type of fans, but there's one thing that you can't deny, that the product really isn't the greatest. You have to be able to find the right players, the right matchup, and even then it may be a little bit underwhelming. And again, for me, I've been following the Blazers since I was a little kid, since I was about 3 years old. So again, for me, doing any NBA game is not going to be on my slate, but I can definitely do the Blazers when they're on. Very familiar, with everything that's going on with the organization. And I can do, other games, but again, it's got to be a pretty special matchup for me to do it. If it's not the Blazers, because I could always pivot towards wrestling or NASCAR or the Kraken or something else. But I imagine, as we get into the NBA playoffs, I might end up doing a few things here and there, maybe a little bit of the East-West finals and the NBA finals overall, depending on what we all, what we have available as far as sports and wrestling for those particular days. But this should be a pretty good matchup. I haven't got a chance to see too much of LaMelo Ball. Should have been in the All-Star game. One of the lead vote getters gets snubbed, doesn't even get in. Definitely one of the best, out of the Ball brothers. And, he's going to have to play for his dad, who just got his foot amputated. They're going to end up doing some kind of documentary on LeVar, as well as the Ball Bros. Every single one of them has had some type of success to make a name for themselves. And again, some parents exploit their sons or daughters for profit. But LeVar was a great businessman. He knew what he had, and maybe had more confidence than anyone else. But if you actually look at how everything kind of played out, everyone knew that LiAngelo wasn't going to make it. He was going to be like in the overseas or in the D League. He wasn't necessarily going to be a guy that was going to start, but he might be able to get a chance. He did. Now he's a rapper, so now he can end up making money that way. Right. And then for Lonzo, at first it looked like he might end up being the best one, but injuries kind of set him back, as well as kind of a weird shooting motion. But injuries kind of derailed his career to a certain degree, so to speak. But LiAngelo was always the one that had the most swag, the one that actually could shoot, and has had a very good, promising career, not only for the Charlotte Hornets, but representing Puma. And I can't wait to be able to see what he does here tonight. He definitely is a guy that should be in the All-Star game every year. Doesn't need to be a starter per se, but deserves definitely to at least be on the bench and to be able to entertain. And definitely excited to see what LaMelo does. Hopefully he doesn't go off for 50 tonight and we lose. But again, Green, Bridges, Williams, Smith Jr., and LiAngelo Ball, LaMelo Ball, and again, our former teammate that we had here, Yusuf Nurkic, is also on the Hornets. So it'll be interesting what kind of welcome he ends up getting when they introduce him into the game. He was pretty well liked here in Oregon and in Portland as well. Let's go, baby. We're just about to get to tip-off here. They had a long, introductory period. And now they're going to be doing the starting lineups here for the Blazers. Go, baby. Anything that you want to be able to do photo-wise before we get to tip-off, and I can get you some photos? Anything specific? Let me know. Yeah, Mariners are 0-2. But again, I'm still, it's preseason baseball. You're not really having all of your best players, play every day. But with that being said, you want to win. You want to be able to see players do well. You want to see someone break out, and usually if you have someone break out in spring training, it typically can carry over to the regular season, where a lot of teams are struggling early on until the weather gets warmer. So I don't really know who that person is going to be for the Seattle Mariners. But again, it's nice to be able to see, some of the younger up-and-coming talent, since we have the number one farm system in baseball, to see the Cole Young and the Cole Emersons and the Harry Fords and the Lazaro Montes. We're going to see some of these guys get called up, but they're not, not everyone will. At least this year, out of our 7 or 8, farm system stars, we're probably only going to bring up 1 or 2 guys. And who knows how long that they'll be up for before they get sent back down to AAA. But definitely we have some holes, at second base, shortstop, third base, first base. So you have a few guys that you can kind of rotate. We got Donovan Solano, you got Luke Raley, you got JP Crawford. You got Polanco playing third. I don't know how that's going to work out. Dylan Moore at second. And I assume if we're going to be able to call up some guys or make a move at the trade deadline, we're going to need a better third baseman than Polo, more than likely, unless he has some magical year. I'm not really holding my breath. And then Dylan Moore, he's a good utility player, but I would rather have one of the young guys come up, like a Cole Young or a Cole Emerson. Because again, if you're going to be getting around a similar batting average and similar stats, we might as well go with the young guy. That'll give us a little bit more, swag and a little bit more excitement with the fan base. So Denny Advia, Anthony Simons coming out. Okay, I got you. He doesn't have too many options on the Kraken for photos, but I'll be able to find at least a couple for sure. Awesome win. especially when you can beat the Florida Panthers in their building. Not a thing that many teams can do. And I was a little nervous, first game against the Florida Panthers. I mean, how is that fair? Right after the Four Nations face-off, but Seattle came in rested, focused. Capo Caco ended up getting the first goal to give us that 1-0 lead. Pretty awesome. And hopefully we can continue that win streak, moving forward. And I'll get you a few more photos as we get into a commercial break. Caleb in the building. What's good? LaMelo Ball, Nick Smith Jr., Josh Green, Miles Bridges, and Mark Williams, which was supposed to be that additional piece that Luka wanted, but ended up failing, with the, trade with Dalton Connect. Obviously, the rookie that had a little bit of flash and flair. But again, if you can't pass a physical, going to be kind of tough to be able to, make the trade fully go through. So, Tumani Kamara, Jeremy Grant, Denny Advia, Donovan Clingan, and Anthony Simons. And again, with the DA injury, Clingan is very raw, as a rookie. But again, exciting because it's the first guy that really we've had that's given us toughness, given us defense. And sometimes, he looks a little slow out there, but he is a rookie. He'll get into better shape as the years go along. He'll be better offensively as well as he'll learn more techniques and drop downs, up and unders, hook shots. He'll start developing a better post game, but really for him, it's more rebounding and defense. We don't really need him to score. And with that being said, he can still get you 10 and 10. And think about how many centers in the NBA that can't do that on a regular basis. So this is a big opportunity to be able to get some experience for Clingan with a little two-man game. Ball, Williams, kicking it out to the corner for three. In and out, no good. Come on, Blazers. Here we go. Let's go. And Jeremy Grant didn't really have that good of a game a few games ago, and some people are questioning the money that will be owed to him. And I get it. It's a lot of money when you end up paying someone when it's over $100 million, right? There was a lot of rumors. Corner three, bang, is good. There we go. Hell yeah, Denny Advia, corner three. I love that. But, with that being said, this is a team that, we were hot. We won 9 out of 10. You weren't going to move Anthony Simons. You weren't going to move Jeremy Grant. And again, we just have to hope that these guys can gain some chemistry as the years go along. Let's go. Denny being very aggressive early on. Little pick and roll. Anthony Simons, same spot as the three, as Denny Advia, in and out and no good. Ball with rebound. And Ball is super lanky, got really good ball skills, really good ball handler, can shoot, can pass, can do a little bit of everything, and a little float-away jumper. And if you watch him, you could probably call traveling on him almost every play that he has the ball in his hands. He takes a lot of steps, but at 23, 6'7", 190, he is one of those guys that's very hard to guard. You can't really stop him. You just got to hope you can slow him down. Simons going right at Ball with the left hand. Tip in is good. Donovan Clingan with the tip in, baby. But I think that this is going to be very competitive, and the winner of this game should be by 10 or less. Could actually end up being a game that's only won by a basket or two. So hopefully we can bring that effort here tonight at home. Denny on the fast break. Jeremy Grant kicks it to Tumani Kamara. Tumani up and under is good. Here we go. I like that, baby. Nice job, Tumani. Great start for the Blazers. Let's keep it up. Let's go, baby. In and out, no good. Jeremy Grant with the board. Let's go, Jeremy. We need a big game today. Denny. Grant shooting in the same spot. Kind of weird that every single Blazer player is shooting from the same spot. Alley-oop from three-pointer. Oh, go, Denny. That alley-oop attempt was no good by the Hornets. Denny Advia at the top of the key. Anthony Simons, a little two-man game. Donovan Clingan with the pick and roll with Simons. Clingan is rolling. Simons underneath. Pass it, Anthony. Anthony with the isolation here. Jab step, ISO. Hit him with the hezzy, reach-in foul on Anthony Simons. So far, so good. 9-4 start. I'll take that. And then we got a really good race tomorrow, Atlanta. Happen no hell. And that'll be at noon. So can't wait to do that. And I got a chance to watch the full trucks race. Frankie Muniz ended up wrecking, so he didn't end up finishing. He had a great finish in the first race at Daytona. But the trucks is fun. I actually prefer watching the trucks even over the Xfinity series. Xfinity is similar to what we get on NASCAR Cup, but again, just not the talent level and whatnot. But for the trucks, just the aerodynamics and the vibe about it, I don't know. I think I kind of enjoy watching the trucks a little bit more than the Xfinity. But, Kyle Busch ended up getting the victory for the trucks. And, in the Xfinity series, that one came down to the wire as well. 9-4 Blazers. Ball, pick and roll with Williams. Good screen, good pass. And what are they going to call here? They're going to call reach in on Klingon. Give me a break. Let me see where the foul is. They say it's on Klingon. Where's the foul? There's no foul there. He loses the ball mid-air, and Klingon is just there next to him. That's a terrible call. Come on. My God. Phantom call. We better get a makeup call here. Ball, floater, air ball, Williams, and steps out of bounds. Karma. Ball don't lie, as Rasheed Wallace would always say. All right, Chauncey. Let's call some plays. I think Chauncey early on gave the team a little bit too much freedom. We need structure. Denny kicking it out. Tumani Kamara for three. In and out, no good. Denny with the rebound. Great effort by Advia. Love his game. Let's go, Denny. Pick and roll. Simons. Denny. Nice pass to Klingon with the flush. Fuck yeah. Let's go. Rip City. Donovan Klingon. Let's go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Give him the rock, baby. It's one of the best big men that we've had in a long time. Got a lot of potential. Just got to hope that he doesn't get injured like all the other centers that we've had. Denny getting hit with the body. Call the foul. There we go. Nice start for the Blazers here, baby. Rip City, 11-4. Portland. What kind of procedure did your mom have, if you don't mind me asking? Well, whatever it is, if it's personal or not as, big of a deal, but whatever it was, hopefully she is doing okay. Obviously something basic procedure, but, could be something personal. So, I don't want to pry. Just hope that she's doing well. Denny Advia, free throw. Front rim is no good. I figured. That's why, I said that. I figured, okay, well, is it something, like an ankle or an arm? It might be something a little bit more personal. So, I hope that she rests up and I hope she ends up having a full recovery. HBCU 2025 to the pros, and they're doing a little HBCU little tribute here where you have like the bands and some of the schools that are represented, which is kind of cool, and you get to see the fans and the players kind of mingling with some of these HBCU invites that we have. Pretty cool. Wow. So, that's going to be a while then. Hope for a very speedy, smooth, healthy, recovery, the best that it can be. Nice start for the Blazers, 11-4 Portland. Tumani Kamara with a bucket, Advia with a three, Klingon with 2 buckets, and we're sitting right now at 11-4 Rip City. I love it. This would actually have been a game that I wouldn't have mind going to. To see ball in person, and again, they match up pretty well. Both teams are incredibly young. Both teams, obviously are kind of towards the lower end, obviously of the power rankings. Both of these teams are, bottom 5, that are going to be looking for Cooper Flag in the draft. And again, whoever, Cooper Flag lands to, from Duke, is definitely going to be very, very excited. And maybe the sports gods will shine on Portland since we weren't able to get Victor Wembanyama. But getting Cooper Flag added to this Blazer roster would be awesome. It would really bring a lot of hype to Portland. Nice. They just gave a nice autographed basketball to this Blazer super fan grandma with Blaze handing the ball over, signed by everybody on the team. Very cool. A shout out to Austin Hill for winning the Xfinity race there in Atlanta. Went down to the wire, and pretty much every race that I've seen, as of late is, has kind of a photo finish, where you got a couple drivers battling it out, and that's the best type of racing. A wreck on the last lap, and then at least 2 or 3 cars going at it, to see who is going to be victorious in the winner's circle. Very, very exciting today. Denny, free throw is missed. Hustle for that rebound. Kumani Kamara with the offensive board. Denny kicks it out. Scoot Henderson in the game. That's my boy. Scoot for 3. Let's go. Hell yeah. And if you remember, Scoot got banged up right before the All-Star break, and that's when DA ended up having that strained calf. We're not going to see him for, another month and a half or so. But Scoot, it was minor. He's back, and great to see him start off on a fast note, hitting that jumper. 16-4 Blazers. Let's fucking go. Fast break. Denny on the attack. Layup is good off the glass. Let's go. I love this, baby. Nice job, Denny. Yes, NFL Combine is going to be awesome. We'll definitely be paying attention to that. I'll be watching a lot of spring training baseball as well. Even though for some people, it may not be for them. But again, when you're a hardcore fan and if it means something to you, I got to be able to see how these players develop. I got to be able to have the inside track, not just reading a box score. I need to watch myself, especially, going into the season. The Mariners are going to be one of the top 10, top 12 hyped up teams. Now we just have to figure out if they're going to live up to the expectations or miss the playoffs again by a game or 2. We got a timeout. Hornets are a little flustered. 16-4, Rip City. Hell yeah. Let's go, baby. All right, see if we can get a couple more photos up. Get healthy, DA. What would you like photo-wise, Megan? Anything else besides Kako? Is there another Kraken player that you would like? Is there any of the regulars? You let me know, and I got you. I can get you a couple more photos. But nice job by Kako getting it started for the Kraken against the Florida Panthers. I don't know how many people would have given us a chance to be, close in that game, let alone win on the road. Based on, the previous history of Seattle this season, it's been pretty rough. But that was a huge win. Hopefully it'll be a springboard win, for the rest of the season. And I don't think anyone expects the Kraken to make the playoffs. But again, winning a few more games in the second half would be nice, for the fan base. It's tough watching your favorite team continuously get beat up and lose. So great win for the Kraken today. I got to take Paisley to the groomer, where they're just going to, trim and drum her nails, and I'll do a self-wash, for her. We went in a lot of rain and a lot of snow, so she's due. Going to do that on Tuesday for her. That's an exciting day for me to be able to make sure I can take care of her and make sure that she feels kept up, pretty, smells good, and feels clean. Jeremy Grant. And the refs are still taking a look, and we should be able to get back into the action here in a second. 16-4 Blazers. Oh, semi-pro. Nice. It's always nice when you can meet, people, at the store or at the bar or wherever, and, just have a, normal, casual, cool conversation. But I think just the fact that, missing out on racing in baseball, even though it was only for a couple months, as we see Yusuf Nurkic get called into the game, and a good vibe from the Blazer fans there. He definitely had a good reputation, here in Portland. I don't think anyone really has anything bad to say about him. Scoot. Jeremy Grant in the corner for three. In and out, no good. Tipped. Donovan Clingan with the rebound. There we go. Scoot at the top of the key. Tumani Kamara with a little jab step. Reach in and stolen by the Hornets. Get back. Off the glass and good. Wow. Miles Bridges taking on two Blazers. He said, no problem. I'll even shoot it with my left. Hornets getting on a little bit of a tear here. Jeremy Grant. Back to Denny Advia. Corner three. In and out. No good. We got to stop shooting threes and start attacking the paint. We got to slow the game down. Don't get lazy and just shoot threes and let the Hornets get back into the game. But that's what's happening here. Bridges. Top of the key after that layup. Bang. It's good. And just like that, 16-4. Nah. 16-12. Fucking A. Come on, Blazers. Clingan. Two-man game with Denny Advia with the pick and roll. Denny kicks it back out to Scoot Henderson. Scoot to the corner. Jeremy Grant. Where the hell are you going, Jeremy? He says, I'm going to the floor and I'm turning the ball over. What the fuck are you doing? Bridges for three again. Bang! Unbelievable. Jesus Christ. Oh, my. Bridges with a layup. Bridges with a three. Bridges with another three. 16-12 Blazers. Come on. We might need to call a timeout here, even though we just had a timeout. Good pass. Denny Advia. Maybe Denny should stop fucking shooting threes and attack the paint. And then Jeremy Grant getting rejected. Ball. Smith. In and out, no good. Tumani Kamara with the rebound. Push, baby. Scoot Henderson. And Scoot knows what to do. He's like, I'll attack the paint if none of y'all are going to do it. You guys are getting too lazy shooting threes. Attack the paint. Let's go. Come on, Scoot. Fan favorite. First free throw is no good. And definitely really wasn't comfortable with himself, in the early part of his career. Was dribbling off his foot, kind of felt nervous, looking over his shoulder. And now he's starting to settle in. And again, we're going to need, Donovan Clingan and Scoot, to be able to step up, as well as guys like Shaedon Sharpe for the youth movement. And then we just got to figure out what guys are going to surround the youth movement. Is it going to be Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, Denny Advia long term? And again, there was rumors or rumblings that maybe we would be looking to get rid of Jeremy Grant and maybe looking to move a couple guys like Anthony Simons as well. But based on how they typically play, I don't know if you can really do that. And also the contracts are pretty high too. Got to find a team that would be willing to take on Jeremy Grant's insane contract. Up and under, no good. Scoot with the board. Come on, baby. Push. Scoot. Nice pass. There we go. And Tumani Kamara with the flush. Great ball awareness. Great court vision. A fucking dime. Just like this with the dunk. Nurkic passes it out to Bridges. Does a little pick and roll. Back to Nurk. Nurk with the layup. And is good. Gets kind of landed on. No foul call there. Nurk is like, where's the foul? Could have had an and one right there, but we'll take it. 22-14 Blazers. Walker. Now we got Shaedon Sharpe in the game. Sharpe. Advia. Don't even think about it, Denny. I'm always going to be a Denny advocate, but Jesus Christ, go to the hole. Shoot a jumper. You don't have to keep shooting three after three after three. That's not who you are. You're a well-rounded player that can do everything. I don't know what kind of Wheaties he ate this morning or whatnot, but he's definitely feeling the outside shot and not really dropping. He doesn't have the Miles Bridges touch just yet. We got a WWE PLE right around the corner, which would be very exciting. Things are really starting to line up, Football is over. NFL and college football. NBA, obviously is in full swing. NHL in full swing. WWE is fucking elite. Now you got NASCAR and baseball getting into the mix, even though it's not regular season yet for the MLB, but at least I get to watch games. And again, I missed it. I don't like seeing the Mariners start off 0-2, but good progress from game 1 to game 2. Alley-oop by the Hornets, and good. Oh, my. What a big flush there. Nurkic, I see you. 23-16 Blazers. Denny, Tumani Kamara, unselfish play, kicks it out to Scoot. Scoot, in and out, no good. Bridges with the rebound. Get back. Good first quarter so far and a great comeback by the Hornets. They just needed that little pep talk. And Miles Bridges obviously always helps as well. Nurk for three. In and out, no good. Hey, we'll let him shoot that all day long. And offensive foul as they push Tumani Kamara. And Tumani Kamara, he's kind of like a pest on defense. You know, a lot of people get frustrated, when they get guarded by him and they end up pushing him and they end up getting called for offensive fouls. Like when we played the Lakers, we dropped that game. And LeBron did put up 40, but Tumani, definitely tries to make it difficult for every star player or every, player that he matches up against. And again, he is one of the main reasons the Blazers have been better at defense this year because of him. They feed off his energy, diving for loose balls, taking charges, doing things that no other Blazer player is really willing to do on a game in, game out basis. Good basketball IQ. And even though he may not be the best player overall, we wouldn't be where we're at right now if we didn't have him on the roster. Denny Advia taking a breather. Come on, Tumani. Let's go, baby. Kamara. Free throw is good. I love the lefties out there. Yeah, taking souls and, being a face and then, being a heel and, commenting on the crowd and, how dirty they are. It's like it was a weird promo, by The Rock. It's like, not necessarily like split personality. Rock is calculated on everything that he says and he does. But it definitely didn't really feel authentic. It felt forced, like something was like, pre-written out and he was reading it off, even though that wasn't the case, It just felt like not a very authentic Rock promo, It felt like a forced promo. And again, he can abuse the crowd and they'll just fucking eat it up, no matter what he says, positive or negative, whether he's trashing the appearance of the crowd and what they look like and all that. But I mean, he can cut a promo, but that was one of the weirdest Rock promos. And that was obviously on purpose that he did it that way. But I don't think it really sent the right message, Instead of being like, oh my God, The Rock killed it with the promo. Deep three. Anthony Simons is good. Bang. There we go, Anthony. Instead of us saying, God damn, Rock is good at the promos, just like he's always been, right? Instead of it being like that, it was like kind of like, okay, well, half of the promo was kind of good. And then the other half, Nurk for three. Okay, Nurk, I see you. And then the other half was like, what is he doing? Like, what? It just doesn't make sense, for his character. It was almost like he was reading something as if he wasn't The Rock, to be honest. There we go. Shaden Sharp with the little jumper is good. We'll take that. Let's go, Shay. We need you. 30-19. Great start for the Blazers. Anytime you can get to 30 in a quarter. Wide open three by Nurk again. In and out, no good. Get that fucking board. There we go, Tumani. Here we go. Got about a minute to go before the first quarter ends. Scoot Henderson at the top of the key, handed off by Tumani Kamara. Walker, corner three, in and out, no good. 3-on-3 here with the Hornets. Get back, Blazers. And Nurk going up for the board and undercut by I believe, Scoot Henderson there. Come on, Scoot. Got to be smarter. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get into the algorithm. Lauren in the building. Congratulations on Team Canada. I kind of felt that was the way that the game was going to go. Glad we didn't get blown out. Glad it was close. There's a reason why Connor McDavid is known as maybe the best player playing in the NHL. Of course, there's a lot of great, top 5 players, that are in the mix. Austin Matthews, another guy. But again, there's a difference between Austin Matthews and, Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid, knows where to be and is a little bit better of a defender. Austin Matthews is like Luka Doncic. Great on offense, but sometimes gets lost on defense, and he definitely got lost going into the corner. We cannot give Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon a wide open opportunity, and that was all she wrote. But it was awesome to see, Finland, Sweden, USA, and Canada do their thing. Now we just got to get the Mariners, Lauren. Bang! Big three by Shay in the corner. Let's go. Now we just need the Mariners to start winning some fucking, preseason baseball games. And I've watched both games in entirety. First game, we didn't look very good against the Padres. We ended up hitting the ball a lot better in this last matchup against the Angels, but you don't give up 2 runs in the fucking bottom of the 9th when you're up 10-9 and lose goddamn 11-10. But again, at least it wasn't a regular season game. Otherwise, I would be more upset. Here we go, Blazers, 36-21, Rip City. But great tournament, lots of fun, and I know a lot of people will be definitely anticipating the next time we can have a tournament like that. And again, it's arguably, it was the highest rated NHL game ever. So obviously if it wasn't good and it wasn't competitive and they didn't play for just pride and had passion, nice 3 by Tumani Kamara, it shows you if you actually put a good product on TV, you'll even get casuals and people that don't even give a crap about hockey being interested in hockey. Facts. All right, we're getting down to the end of the first quarter. 38-21. We almost put up 40 in the first. Hallelujah. Let's go. Yeah, it's true. I'm not sure if it's going to have the same kind of vibe as the Four Nations face-off, though. Now, they really put that tournament together very, very well. And again, Olympics are not going to be for everyone. Some people don't watch, winter or summer. But again, it is going to be nice since it is right around the corner. Nice bank there by Anthony Simons right before the buzzer. Let's go. Let's go, baby. 38-21. Simons with the hook shot looking like Magic Johnson. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I fucking love it. Way to bring that electricity, baby. Nice job, Blazers. Great start. Great start. Let's see if we can sprinkle in a few more photos here. Anything specific that you want to be able to see for a few photos? New episode of Law & Order SVU dropped yesterday. Watched it before I started, obviously, the stream. If you haven't got a chance to watch it, I would. It's a good episode. Every episode is good, but I like it when they focus on different characters and it's not, the same characters that's kind of the spotlight. Everyone deserves, to be able to, have their moment. And I definitely enjoyed this week's episode. All right, Jeremy Grant with, let's see where we go here. Got 0 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist. He's 0 for 3. Anthony Simons with 7. Shaden Sharp with 5. I want to take a look at the full box score. What else do we have here? See if they reformat it here. All right, there we go. So we got Denny Advia leading the team with 10, right? Tumani Kamara with 9. Anthony Simons with 7, Klingon with 4, Jeremy Grant still nothing in the starting lineup, and then we got Shay with 5 off the bench and Scoot with a 3 off the bench. 38-23 Blazers. Let's go. Largest lead after the first quarter this season. 38-21 Blazers, and as the Hornets get a quick bucket here. Jeremy Grant in the corner. If you're not going to be able to make that shot outside, Jeremy, and attack the paint, my guy. I mean, some of these guys get just too comfortable shooting threes. It's like the Steph Curry virus. Like, not everyone is going to be able to make shots like Steph. And it's hurt the game tremendously. It's like you don't even really see mid-range jumpers anymore. Kobe is, definitely not happy about that. Ball. Nice no-look dime. To Williams with the flush. That was pretty. Reach in foul. Diabate with the reach in. Come on, Jabari Walker. All right, we need 8 more likes to get to 20 to hit the algorithm. If you were in the room and you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. 8 more to go, and then we'll be at 20. Let's go, baby. Free throw is good. Ball. Jeremy Grant running a full court press. I don't know if I would really recommend that. Not against LaMelo. Good pass. Inside. And good. LaMelo's a good passer, and he's got a good basketball IQ for being as young as he is. Definitely plays like a street ball type of athlete, but he definitely has a lot of skill there. There's a reason why he's the best ball brother. Better shooter than, obviously, Lonzo for sure. Ball at the top of the key. Jeremy Grant giving some pressure. Pick and roll. Decides to split the pick and roll. Ball at the top of the key. Crossover, 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 crossover. See what he does here. Corner pass. Baseline. Jumper in and out, no good. Rebounded by the Blazers. Push. 41-25. Rip City. Let's go. There we go. Shea. Hezzy. And throws it out of bounds. Come on. Yeah, no DeAndre Ayton either. So that was only our 3rd turnover of the game. But, I had a feeling that this would actually be a pretty fun one. This was going to be, I figured that, the Hornets might get behind at some point. They'll make a few runs, especially with Bridges and Ball. 3, in and out, no good. But us being at home with all that time off, and Scoot coming back, definitely a winnable game here tonight. Scoot, in and out, no good. But if we keep shooting a bunch of dumbass threes, they're going to come back. Twisted out of bounds, and they say turnover Portland. Unbelievable. Get back. Grant, Sharp, Walker, Murray, and Simons on the floor, and Walker and Murray barely get any playing time, so not really sure how long we're going to have them out there. They might end up being a liability. How have the Cardinals looked so far, Sarah? I know you said that they lost today. Have you got a chance to watch a little bit, see some highlights if you weren't able to watch, the games themselves? Anything, to report back on? Ball. 3, airballed. Offensive board by the Hornets is good. Good awareness there by Charlotte. 45-27, Rip City. Walker at the top of the key. Jeremy Grant. There we go. Come on, Jeremy. And Jeremy had a terrible game against the Lakers. 1 for 12. Corner 3, air ball, no good. Come on, Jeremy. Come on, Blazers, push. Now we got Grant. Attack. And he lost the ball. And then we get the offensive board. There we go. 45-27 Blazers. Ball. Pick and roll. Open 3, in and out, no good. I mean, again, they need to be able to run a 2-man game with Ball and Bridges. And again, when Nurk is on the floor, it seems like they play better ball as well. Simons, jab step, corner 3, in and out, no good. Rebound by Charlotte. Got about 8 minutes to go here before halftime. And we have a timeout. Casually up by 18. We'll take that. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Do love the Hornets colors. Jake in the building. Matt in the building. What's good? Tumani with 9. Advia with 10. Klingon with 4. Simons with 7. Jeremy got his first bucket finally with 2. Jabari Walker with 3. Sharp with 7. And Scoot with 3. And the only other player that might end up playing that's on our bench might be Robert Williams III. And obviously Thibault, Ayton, and a few others that are so far down the depth chart are not going to play today. Oh, really? In OT? Yeah, it's been a pretty wild day for sports. You know, it's like, you know, I love racing, so I got plenty of that in. You know, I love baseball, so I got plenty of that in as well. You know, Blazer game, obviously, here, you know, against LaMelo. Good matchup. Both teams are young and inexperienced, but they match up well, so I had a feeling that this was going to be a fun one. We got NASCAR Cup Series, Atlanta, Mbetta, 400. And Napa, no how. You know, Chase Elliott's hometown. He won the race a couple years ago. Definitely would be awesome if he could end up doing that again. And I'm excited. It's a little early. It's on at noon, so I'm going to have to wake up early. You know, do the whole walking thing with Paisley Pup and make the thumbnail. But we've been getting really good results in our NASCAR streams. We had over 3,000 people in the first one, obviously at Bowman Gray. For the Daytona 500, we almost hit 5,000. So, you know, if we can, you know, hit over 1,000 on every single one or most of them, that would obviously be the goal. But to hit 3 and to hit almost 5 in the first 2, obviously my thumbnail skills have been improved, and you know, we got a good group of people, and hopefully we can keep growing that side of the channel as well. Got an Australian super fan courtside with Brooke that travels from Australia here to the States. His name is Tom Knight, and he's on the mic. He said beverages, a few. LaMelo, front rim, in and out, and no good. Scoot, Sharp, corner 3 is good. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go, Shay Shay. We need you. 48-31, Blazers. Let's go. I need a Blazer win after that Mariner loss. There was plenty of times in that Mariner game where we could have just rolled over and gave up, but they kept fighting. Corner 3 is good. Oh my! Hitting the 3 and getting an and 1. Wow, he's got the pinwheel tattooed on his body. He's got Dame on a couple tattoos on his arm and his leg. Yeah, this is a pretty hardcore fan here. He's got some pretty good ink. Okay. Oh, signed Shaden Sharp jersey from Shay Shay himself. How cool is that? He's like, I don't even know if he's gonna put it on. He's like, it's autographed. I don't know if I want to put it on right now. Awesome. Him and his wife and his daughter are there from Australia. They, you know, and the Blazers do take care of, you know, super fans from other countries. You know, I know that there's this Japanese girl that comes through like every season, you know, from Japan, and they always, you know, greet her and, you know, make sure that she feels, you know, a part of the team and whatnot. And that's really cool to be able to see, you know, people from Japan, China, Australia, you know, from, you know, anywhere that's, you know, going to be a little bit of a journey, and to be able to make that trip, you know, extra special for those fans. Pretty awesome. Shout out to the Blazers for actually, you know, being in tune with their fan base and showing that kind of love. mean, they already had a fan for life, but now you get someone that's going to be one of the biggest advocates and supporters that can spread the word to all of their friends and family, from the experiences that they've had. LaMelo, rejected. And as LaMelo crashes to the floor, doing a little and one with the dribbling. Paisley Pup laying next to me here. She's enjoying the view. 51-33 Blazers. Cool kid in the building. What's good? But the only thing that really got me kind of worked up is when we finally was 8-8, then 9-8, and then all of a sudden we took the lead 10-9. The game is almost over, right? We're in the bottom of the ninth. All we got to do is just hang on, right? And then you go from, being at, 10-9, you're up. You only need one more strike and the game's over. And then all of a sudden everything hits the fan, right? Including the shit. And then it goes from 10-9, we're ahead, 10-10, we're tied. And then literally the next pitch, next batter, boom, 11-10. And, I just couldn't believe that we ended like that, and hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. I hate losing like that. Terrible. But you know who's not losing here today? The Blazers, 51-35. Rip City. Denny up and under. Floater. Donovan Clingan trying to get that rebound. Poked away. 3-on-3. LaMelo doing a little and one dribbling. His dribbling skills are fire, though. Like I said, it reminds me of watching the N1 mixtape tour, which I have a VHS and DVD. For some of y'all youngins, you may not know what those things are, but I was very, very into N1. And a lot of people don't know that one of the best street ballers that ever has been, on the courts is from Oregon. It's actually about, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes from me. And that would be the Professor. The Professor is from Oregon. So pretty cool, when you can see someone like Grayson showing that, hey, we got some skills out here in the Pacific Northwest. Bridges. Good physical up and under, but gets fouled. That does not get the call. But I think they're going to give the ball to Charlotte there. A little makeup call. No worries, Megan. Get some rest. I told you what it was from before. You got football, right? But when it's not football season, you got to get another hobby. Especially if you can watch WWE, but you don't love it. You got to find something to be excited about, something to look forward to. Because if it's only the Broncos and the Ducks and football season that it gets you excited and things are fun at that time period, well, that's only going to be for a quarter of the year. For 4 or 5 months, what are you going to do for the other, 6-7 months? Got to find something to, get yourself excited about sports wise or wrestling wise. And if you can't find something, on TV, then, maybe trying to, figure out another hobby of some kind. But I know the more working out, the more exercise you do, the more walking you do, that's better for the mental health. Always staying active will help the mental health the most. Exercise and diet. As long as your diet is good and you just don't give up on yourself diet-wise, right? And then you exercise, you move the body, and you don't have a chance to really get depressed as much. Maybe, for some people, maybe not even at all. You start to kind of feel, maybe little signs of things, but I felt that if you really push yourself and get addicted to things that are positive, like exercise, you don't really have that many bad days. You're too busy, and you feel too good, about the work that you're putting in to overthink and have a bad day. Yeah, time management. Got to be better, right? Well, you got time to watch WWE. It's a choice, regardless if you're working or not. Everything is a choice, So you're gonna make adjustments and you put in the work, or you'll procrastinate and not do anything and go down a very steep kind of ditch where you can get into a a mode of being a little depressed, a little low, have some anxiety or anger type stuff, you just got to keep yourself busy. Keep yourself busy. Exercise, keep yourself busy. And you got to find, that thing, that will get you excited when you wake up in the morning. And I know my buddy Justin was mentioning, he wanted me to be able to go overnight, but with my whole Paisley situation, I can't leave her alone or bring her with. Like when we're at a game, I just can't leave her in the room, some high-end hotel room by herself, even though she probably would be okay, but I just can't do that. So more than likely, we're going to go to the Pirates. I don't know how many games I'm going to get to go to this year, 1 or 2. If I was able to stay overnight in Seattle, we would go, back to back, Friday, Saturday, come back Sunday, but doesn't look like that'll be an option. But if we go on July 4th, we're going to get seats a little bit further back, around row 20, maybe just under the shade because it could be hot. And we're hoping that we get to see Skeens because that's when the Pirates come to town. So, and that would be one of the top, players that I would love to see in person that obviously I haven't seen since he was a rookie last year. And I don't know if he'll be healthy, but more than likely we're going to go see the Pirates. And I'm super excited about that. Never seen them before. And if Skeens pitches, yeah, we have a chance to lose, but it'd be pretty incredible to get a foul ball from Skeens' hands and then to have, Cal hit it and then, to somehow me get it, that would be like a dream come true. I mean, I've already had a couple magical moments, but a Skeens Cal Raleigh ball, I don't know if it gets any better than that. Besides maybe Skeens and Julio. Tumani, alley-oop. There we go, Donovan. Woo! Let's go. We're casually up by 20, baby. Yes, sir. Donovan clinging, baby. Cling Kong. Bitches. Get him, Donovan. There we go. Jeremy Grant, fast break, 2-on-2. Anthony Simons, corner 3. Bang, baby. Everything is coming up. Roses. Rip City. Oh, my. Fucking being electric tonight. Had a feeling. They're like, Mariners kind of coughed it up. We got to make sure we leave on a good note tonight. Floater is good. 59-39 Blazers. Nurk back in the game. Great to see him. He's about to check in. Come on, Denny. Don't get sloppy. All right, now we got a substitution. Judah. Yeah, Capo with that first goal. Nice to be able to see them, not only, win, but win on the road against a very, very good team. So, I wasn't expecting them to win. And, we'll take any kind of win that you can get, especially the way that the season has gone. I mean, the Blazers are also having a kind of a rough year, but there's not been a point where, the Kraken have won 9 out of 10 like the Blazers did. So even though both teams are, kind of struggling, the Kraken are still looking for their kind of moment, and hopefully that'll be a springboard win, beating the Florida Panthers in their building. Get him, Donovan. There we go. Stolen. Go, Denny. Denny's 1-on-2. Foul. Off the glass. And 1. Let's go, Denny. Denny Advia. Denny. Fuck yeah, baby. And whenever Denny ends up getting an and 1, they play John Cena's theme music. It's a big John Cena fan. Anytime you're watching a game, and if you ever hear John Cena's music, that's because of Denny. They cue it up for him anytime there's an and 1. And surprisingly, you actually hear it, a few times a game. Denny with the free throw. In and out, no good. Come on. You got to make that if they're going to play the Cena music for you, my guy. Here we go. Ball. Nurkic. 2-man game. They need to get a lineup where they have Ball, Bridges, and Nurk in the same time, because that's when they're the most effective. Now they're getting a little bit too pass happy. 3 seconds. Over the back. There we go. Good offensive board. Defensive board by the Blazers. Toumani Camara for 3. Bang! Toumani. Oh, my. 67-39. Pinch me. Let's go. Another steal. Everything just coming up. Rip City, baby. Simons for 3 again, and good. You got to be shitting me. Unreal. Let's go. Anthony bringing that electricity, baby. Oh, my gosh. What a huge run here. Backdoor cut. Good pass by Nurk. Poked away. Ball bitching, and he gets a foul call. I believe Anthony Simons with the reach in. How you feel about that Bregman sighting, Judah? Have you been watching any Red Sox spring training yet? And how are the Bruins doing? It sounds like they lost today, but how are the Bruins doing this year? Free throw is good by Ball. 68-40 Blazers. Fuck yeah, man. Sometimes the sports gods, they just got to do your boy a solid. Especially, me putting in that dedication of watching, all of the NASCAR Craftsman's Truck Series race in entirety, Xfinity race, the Mariner game, and then for the Mariners to come back multiple times in that game, like 5 different fucking times, and then to lose it in the bottom of the 9th with one strike or 2 strikes to go. And then having it go from 10-9, oh, we're going to win. Then to 10-10, oh, fuck. And then the next guy gets a hit, oh, shit. And then you look at the scoreboard and it says you lost 11-10 to the Angels. That was crazy. But, again, at least it was not regular season and it was spring training. But it was nice to see, some of the newbies get some playing time. Always want to be able to see Cole Young, Colt Emerson, Lazaro Montez, Harry Ford, see some of those guys that are going to get called up soon. And again, if we're not going to spend the money, on guys right away, or ever, hopefully the farm guys will come up big. I would love to have Vlad come in, but the Mariners are so cheap, I highly doubt it'll happen. Vlad will probably have a better chance joining the Yankees, liking their post with him in a Yankee uniform. But it sounds like he'll either get dealt at the deadline or they'll wait till the season is over and he'll for sure be gone then. So I would assume if they trade him at the deadline, at least they can get something in return. If they wait until the season's over, they may not get anything. He'll just go somewhere else with no, extras coming back their way. So I guess if the Blue Jays were smart, they would probably try to deal him at the deadline and get the most they can. Hopefully another good player in return or two. Simons for 3, in and out, no good. But I would love Vlad in Seattle. But again, that I don't know. The chances of that happening would be like 1% or lower. It's just, again, he would be a great fit in Seattle, but the ownership is so goddamn cheap. They never pull the trigger on anything. Simons. Oh, left-handed layup is good. And I'll tell you what, they did, give Julio the bag, for being this phenom. And that's great and all, but they better give Cal Raleigh the bag. Cal Raleigh deserves more money than Julio. Julio might be a popular player, fun-loving, smiling all the time, offense, defense. But if you really look at, our team, Cal Raleigh is the best player on the team and the most valuable by a lot. He brings that leadership for all of the pitching staff. Fast break, 2-on-1, Simons, layup is good. Imagine, Brian Wu and Bryce Miller and Logan Gilbert and George Kirby and Luis Castillo. If, Mitch Garver was our starting catcher, we would be fucked. We wouldn't have a top 5 rotation. It would probably end up being top 15, because, again, they have the talent to do it. But, Garv or whoever else that you have at catcher, you need someone that, can obviously call a good game, that can work with the pitchers and obviously be a good defender, throw guys out, at second and first from the knees. And again, Cal, he needs to, be a Mariner for life. And I will be so disappointed if they get cheap and let him go. And I get it. We got Harry Ford waiting in the wings, but Harry is never going to be as good as Cal Raleigh. You could argue right now Cal Raleigh is the best catcher in baseball overall. And you wouldn't really have too many fighting you. There's like Salvador Perez, Adley Rutschman. Yeah, Salvador's on the way out, almost retired. Adley Rutschman will always be more popular until Seattle starts making the playoffs on a regular basis. But then Cal eventually will get that pub and love the further that we go. But there's other guys that are out there, that play the position. But for my bucks and my dollars, Cal is. He gives you extra things that some of these other catchers don't give you. And I hope that he can end up hitting a better, average this year. The whole team is around 200 to 220. Hopefully we can get our batting average as a team up to like 230 to 250. I know that's asking a lot. Probably won't happen, but, I can dream. And hopefully Cal can get his batting average up closer to 300 rather than 200. Even if it's 250 to 300, that's a hell of a lot better than 200 to 230. And, he's a guy that can get you 30, 40, 50 home runs, switch hitter, very likable. And I'm going to be definitely shooting for a Cal baseball when I go to the game. And if I were to buy a jersey of any Mariner player right now, current on the roster, 100%, it would be Cal Raleigh. Now, it just would depend on what jersey would I get. It would either be the City Connect, the new one with like the blue and the yellow, or the teal. I think that's where I would go. I don't own any of the teal jerseys. And obviously me and Megan have talked about like the teal Ichiro from back in the day and a few of those other options. Griffey has a teal, Ichiro has a teal, but got to get me a big dumpa. And we're at halftime, baby. 73-40. Is that good? And we got the HBCU bands out there performing the halftime show. You know nothing about baseball. I love it. Non-Mariner fans are, so oblivious. Again, it's either you watch the game as an entire whole, and again, if you only watch one or two teams, you're not going to know anything besides what you see on social media. You can get pretty fucking stupid, with opinions when you only watch a feed on social media and you see a couple highlights here, a couple highlights there. The only way you're going to know, who's good in this league and who isn't is if you actually watch the games and pay attention. Facts. Big lead, 73-40, probably our biggest lead of the season. But again, some people understand, it's more than just batting average. It's more than home runs. It's, again, it's leadership and being able to call a game. People don't understand. They think the pitcher, calls the game. Most of the time, the catcher is the one that calls the game. The catcher is calling the pitches based off the film and the rapport that he has with that pitcher, and again, the pitcher can nod him off and say no and change it up, but normally you're not going to get too many people that kind of call their own game unless we're talking like Nolan Ryan or Greg Maddux, but other than a couple guys, that are established Hall of Famers, most of the time, and this is not just Mariners, this is in general, the catcher is the one calling the game. So if you have an elite one, it'll make the rest of the pitching staff elite. If you don't have an elite catcher, your pitching staff won't be as good, but again, a lot of people that, are just, like that individual, you either understand and you watch, or you're oblivious and you know nothing. So. I preferred Kevin Durant because I watched him, I watched Greg at Ohio State, and then when he got hurt, in the tourney, he was shooting free throws left-handed. That should have been a sign of stay away, and Durant was skinny as hell, looked like he only weighed like 160, but again, at Texas, he was breaking records. That was the obvious choice. But again, the era of the centers was like, in the 80s, and you don't really see a whole lot of dominant centers. You had Shaq in 92, and then Tim Duncan as a power forward a few years later, Kevin Garnett, in that time period. But as far as centers, Shaq was one of the last, dominant centers that we've seen all on the same level, if not exceeding Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson. I mean, these are the guys that I grew up with, top 50 players that if they were playing today, they would make a lot of the centers look terrible. Joel Embiid wouldn't even be talked about. So, he would be a guy that would be pretty good, but it's not like he's going to be able to take Hakeem one-on-one every game. Like, he would get destroyed by some of these guys. And, Embiid definitely has the talent to put up 30, 40, 50 points. But again, if you're only going to play half of the games in your career, you're only going to get so much respect. Facts. Yeah. But I think, people, don't understand, how important Cal is. They can look at Julio and say, yeah, man, Julio is so popular. All his memorabilia is worth so much money. There's just so much, popularity around Julio. But real fans that watched Julio last year, he didn't really play well. He was a liability for us at times. He wasn't really as good on defense. Obviously, when, you had ground balls come out to him, he had some errors. Obviously, not, fielding the pop-ups as well. Obviously, now having a full beginning of a season with Randy and Robles out in the outfield with him will make him better and take his, I think his productivity up to another notch. Stealing bases, he wasn't as effective, got thrown out a lot. Obviously, he had the breakup with the girlfriend. That kind of fucked him up. And, people acting like, oh, that shit doesn't matter. It does. Brady ended up having his divorce with Giselle. We still found a way, with the Bucks. But again, you could definitely tell, when certain players are going through something, outside of, the game itself. And sometimes, it takes a while to be able to move on and to be able to find yourself again. And again, I expect Julio to be able to get back to that player he was in his rookie season. And hopefully we can get 30-30 out of him, 30 homers, 30 stolen bases. That's kind of like the base standard. But he's good enough, at some point in his career to get 40-40 or 50-50. And again, having Victor Robles, that was probably the biggest pickup the Mariners have had in 5-10 years. And again, he was playing like an all-star last year. He's better than Randy Arozarena. No longer J.P. Crawford as a leadoff hitter, which is good for us. And we should be able to score more runs. And again, the key word is should, but, knowing obviously that Seattle is one of the hardest ballparks to hit at, it's going to be tough. And it's not just Mariner players saying that. You're getting everyone, based off the analytics, the statistics, based on how the field is set up. There's a lot of hitters that struggle in Seattle. And on top of having a top 5 pitching staff doesn't make it easy. But again, even the elites, have a little bit of an issue hitting in Seattle. But again, hopefully we can find the right combination at some point to make sure that we're not wasting the prime years of Julio, Cal, and then obviously our amazing pitching staff with Wu, Miller, right, Kirby, Gilbert, and then eventually we got to replace Luis Castillo because he fucking stinks. He used to be our 1. He's the 5 now. Now, again, if he's the 5, that shows you how good we are, but again, he's been kind of going down in production every single year, not trustworthy. And all the guys can get to 10 to 15 wins and have an ERA under 3. But the thing is out of the top 5, we got 1 or 2 guys, and I don't know which 1 or 2 they are going to be, but we have 1 or 2 guys that if they could get, into a nice groove, could, hit 15 wins or more. If they got run support, and could end up being closer to 2 in the ERA than 3, like 1.99, 2.05, 2.20, instead of everyone being like 2.93 or 3.14 or something like that, which is still, as a collective group, like one of the best in MLB. But I feel like with some of the talent, other than Castillo, everyone else is kind of trending up, Castillo trending down. So at some point we need to get rid of his ass. But I mean, if he's going to be the 5, that's one of the best 5s in baseball. So we just need him to play better. But with his age and how he's played the last couple years, I don't really expect anything. Halftime, 73-40, Rip City. STL in the building. What's good? Yeah, I mean, Embiid offensively and defensively, he has talent. We know that. But again, no toughness, not mentally tough, not physically tough. Obviously, brittle, injury-prone body, which is unfortunate. I had to go through that with, Greg Oden and what could have been with Oden, LaMarcus, and Brandon Roy. We could have ended up going to at least a couple finals. Not saying that we would have won it all, but with Odin and Roy and Aldridge together, they barely got to play together. Like, I think they played like 10 to 20 games total, together. Like, it was a very small amount. But again, if we were able to have those guys continue, their careers, Odin never gets hurt. He's the best center in the league, or top two at that time. LaMarcus, an all-star. Brandon Roy, the best shooting guard, besides like Kobe around that time, for a few years. Rookie of the year, all-star. A knees blew out, went to the T-Wolves, disappeared, right? And obviously, if B-Roy was able to play 10 years or longer with Aldridge and Odin, yeah, I think that definitely anyone would have said, you guys have a shot. And again, we were very, very good, when we had those guys. But, we haven't really had the best of luck. Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan, right? Obviously having a chance to be able to get Kevin Durant, no, Greg Oden. But since then, you got to think we've made some pretty good moves, signing, drafting Dame, drafting CJ McCollum, looking at Anthony Simons and Klingon now, and Scoot and Sharp. So it's like, some of those guys are not Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan. I get that. But, at least we're not, bricking on our draft picks. Like, at least like the guys that we're drafting are actually kind of panning out. Tumani Kamara, Scoot, like Klingon, like the fan base is excited for these guys. Now, if we can get Cooper Flagg, in Rip City, then we're talking some business. But, the chances of that happening are pretty slim. I mean, knowing the NBA and whatnot, and not saying that the NBA is fully rigged, but remember when David Robinson got hurt, right? When the Spurs were one of the best teams in the NBA, they were just winning like, 45, 50, 60 games, bang, 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 Sean Elliott, Avery Johnson, just awesome team, right? And then for whatever weird reason, David Robinson gets hurt like once, seriously, in his career, right? Then they end up getting the draft pick. And who does that turn into? Tim Duncan. And then the rest is history. So, and then now they have Wemby, right? When's it going to be the Blazers' turn? But knowing the Blazers' luck, the Spurs, after getting Wemby and now him being out for the rest of the year, not eligible to get, defensive player of the year based off games and the rule change, right? But Wemby had a great year. Awesome, fun player to watch, right? Now the Spurs are probably going to get Cooper Flagg. And it's like, how many guys do they need to keep getting? Can the Blazers get a special player? I'd love Cooper Flagg. That would definitely, it would get me more invested. I mean, I'm already invested in the Blazers, obviously doing the stream and watching their games, as being a young team that's, obviously not a very good record, but shows flashes. But if Cooper Flagg comes to the Blazers, that would be, it would make up a little bit for the whole Greg Oden, over Durant situation, Jordan. And again, the reason they didn't go Jordan is because we already had Clyde. And back then, if you already have a 2, you're not going to draft a 2. But if you were smart, hey, guess what? Clyde or Jordan could play 2 shooting guard or 3 small forward. So again, it's either talent, and Clyde could have moved to the 3, Jordan could have played the 2, and if that would have happened, who knows? Arvydas Sabonis, comes over from Lithuania, maybe not at the end of his career, but in his prime, and then all of a sudden, Arvydas Sabonis, Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler, and we win like 5 titles or something of that nature. I mean, the Bulls could have been the Blazers, but it is what it is. But I'm happy of where the Blazers are now, and 73-40, we'll take that. I watched him play. I watched Johnny playing. I even did a couple streams of Auburn so far. But I think Cooper Flagg, as far as all of the players that are in college now, that's the player that could succeed on any team. He's got enough physical talent, and then obviously if the supporting cast and the coaching is great, then his numbers are going to be elevated and higher. But even if he goes to like a terrible coach, terrible supporting cast, like he's still a guy that could be an impact player, and even coming in right away could end up being a guy that could score 15 to 20 and getting you 6, 7, 8 assists, 6, 7, 8 rebounds, and at one point even, getting a triple-double, or close to that for an average, like a 20, 10, and 10, or 28 and 8, that's solid. And again, we would love to be able to have a player like that. All right, let's get into the third quarter, baby. 75-40, Rip City, baby. STL, are you ready for Atlanta tomorrow? Stream at 12 o'clock noon. Napa know how. And you already know what's going to happen. Chase Elliott, bye-bye. All right, take care, Megan. Thank you so much for your support. We're at 10. We got 90 to go. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And this has been one of the best Blazer first halves of the year. I mean, anytime you can get plus 70, in 2 quarters, for a team that's bottom 5. But again, I feel like we are the best shitty team in the NBA. As far as teams that are in the bottom 10, we are the best shitty team besides maybe the Spurs. Alley-oop to Donovan Clingan. Wow. Oh, my. Kling Kong, bitches. 75-41 Blazers. Oh, my. And I like our announcing crew. When I hear announcing crews that are terrible, like when I had to listen to the Angels crew because they didn't have a Seattle crew out there. Riz, obviously on our Mariner radio station, is amazing. He is so good. And again, they made some changes, Sims and Blowers. Sims went to New York. Blowers, obviously they pushed out, which is a damn shame because I liked his color commentary. They are going to bring Jay Buhner, one of the beloved Mariner players, but I'm not really sure how Jay Buhner is going to be on the microphone. Jay Buhner, the player, awesome. But Jay Buhner, the storyteller, I don't know. I'm going to root for him, but it might not be the greatest, so we'll see how it looks. But at least they have Goldie doing the play-by-play. I didn't mind Sims. I kind of liked him, but again, everyone's got a preference. But, when you hear bad announcing, gosh, man, it definitely makes the programming, not as good. Whether it's their knowledge or if they just have an annoying voice. And one by Denny Advia. Feel better, Megan. 78-44, and you hear the John Cena in the background. Let's go, baby. Now you got to make the and one, Denny. Well, he had the stroke, around November, December time. So he loves basketball, though. Like, when you get the guys that are great at what they do, it's got to be hard for them to walk away. Coach K, Pop, guys that have had the utmost success out of anybody. But again, health-wise, he's getting close. But think about it. It's like, you had David Robinson, you had Tim Duncan. Now you got Wemby. Like, think about, being able to impact Wemby as long as you possibly can before you got to hang it up. And I imagine Wemby might be the thing that keeps him wanting to coach longer than maybe he should. But it all depends on his health. If his health is okay, yeah, keep going. But if his health is a concern with the stroke, then yeah, you gotta take care of yourself and your family, or take a different type of role. Stay with the Spurs, but maybe not be the head coach. Be like consultant type, a person, less traveling, with the team and whatnot, depending on that stroke. Denny with the handoff, Klingan. Hornets with the steal, 2-on-1. Travel. Williams getting hacked as he goes up for the dunk. It's in the ATL. Napa know-how. Chase Elliott's hometown. So it's going to be fun. I watched the Trucks race and the Xfinity race. Definitely going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. It's going to be early, too. It's at noon, so I'm going to have to wake up at 7 a.m., walk with Paisley a few times, and then get a thumbnail made, which will probably take an hour, and then get ready for the race that will start at noon Pacific. It's not so bad if you're in the Midwest at 2 or East Coast 3, but anytime we have something that starts at 9, 10, 11, or noon, it's a little early, but Advia with the handoff from Simons. Back to Simons with the pick and roll with Klingan. Kicks it out to Jeremy Grant for 3. And good. Jeremy even making threes now. Team is in trouble. 84-48. Is that good? It's about time I get to see a game like this. Normally the score is opposite, and the Blazers are down by this much. So great to see this. First game after the All-Star break. Simons, corner 3. Bang is good. Let's go. Nice job, Anthony. 84-51 Blazers. Paisley's in here. She gave me the R. I got to multitask. Massage, Paisley pop, give her a head scratch, belly rub, call the game. Bridges, Hands off. Pick and roll. See if they get Williams the ball. Bridges in the corner is good. You want out, Paisley? All right, I think Paisley might want out. Give me a sec. You can stay here if you want. Up to you. Yeah, it's funny how the NBA, I mean, also depends, home, away, and again, we were on a 4-game skid, and getting Scoot back into the lineup, not really having, the only player that we don't have that's playing that would really be an asset for us is DeAndre Ayton. But after he had that calf injury and Scoot got hurt in that same game, instead of winning 9 games out of 10, we kind of hit a skid. And the schedule makers didn't do us any favors by making us fucking play Denver twice in Denver in a matter of 3 days. Of course we were going to fucking get blown out by the Joker and Jamal Murray, right? That might be the only team that can beat the Thunder and represent the West, right? It kind of feels like Thunder, Nuggets, and then Celtics and maybe Cavs. But I don't see a championship coming out of the East this year. Kind of seems like it would be the West. But we'll see. You never know. Like Boston seems good, but maybe not as good as some of the previous teams. Cavs are good this year, but they don't have the experience. So if it comes down to Cavs-Boston, even if the Cavs have the better record, it's probably smarter to bet on Boston based off experience and, the players that they have. Not saying that Cleveland can't do it. They're great this year, but they're not on the same level as the Thunder. Like the Thunder might be the best team in the NBA, but again, lack of experience of going deep in the playoffs. They might be able to get past the first couple rounds, but if they match up against like Jamal Murray and the Joker, that could be the team that, SGA and company and Chet, they might hit that wall. But again, they have good defense. They're unselfish. It'll be interesting to see what we end up getting for the NBA Finals, as well as the East and the West Finals for the Final Four. Tumani Kamara, top of the 3. Key, in and out, no good. Over the back, Williams with the rebound. $84-53. Is this real? Good steal by the Blazers. Get that ball. Bridges. Good pass. Corner 3. In and out, no good. Williams with the board. Come on, Klingon. Get tough. Klingon goes for the block. High off the glass. In and out, no good. Fast break with the Blazers now. Simons. And Simons travels. Golly. Yeah, I watched a little bit of the Laker game. I was making the thumbnail, so I got a chance to see Luka. Luka was balling in the first half. Anytime you can have almost 20, like 16 to 19 points, in that general range, early in the first half, that he, has a good chance to hit 30 and above. And, LeBron is still a guy that can put up 40. Did it to the Blazers a couple nights ago. And again, you get 2 guys that have big size, not a lot of defense, from the Lakers, but again, they have enough scoring power to make a run this year for sure. Corner 3 by the Hornets, in and out, no good. Get the board. Simons with the rebound. 87-53. Rip City. Jeremy Grant going up for a layup and fouled. Knicks are fun, if you're a fan of certain players. Yeah, but again, if you're going to be getting championships with the Eagles and possibly one day with the Phillies, who gives a shit about the Sixers? I mean, like I said, you don't really follow the Flyers. The Flyers are probably, in that kind of same position. You're probably not going to see them, win a championship from here on out. And if they do, it probably will be a long time from now. But again, it's all about culture. And again, you can be a team that's a playoff team. You can be a team that's good. You can have a team that has all-star players, but the culture is not the same, And again, once they can have the right owner, the right GM, the right head coach, then the players will fall into place. It won't matter if you have Embiid or not. You'll have the right people at the right time, And It's like they've had some, pretty good players over the years, right? Dr. J, right? Charles Barkley, Allen Iverson, now with Embiid. But again, one of those names doesn't belong with the others. So, but I mean, if the Sixers never fucking win, who cares, right? You don't need to worry about that. As long as the Eagles keep winning, and if the Phillies can win, I honestly think, Phillies winning would be, more impactful than the Sixers, because nobody thinks the Sixers are going to do it because the organization isn't good. It's all about, having the right leadership above. And if you don't have those right people there, you're never going to do anything. You might end up making the playoffs, but that's as far as you're going to go. I mean, and it's been that same kind of situation for the Sixers for years and years and years. So it's all good, man. Try to get the Phillies with one. They're competitive. I mean, Dodgers keep spending that money, but you got to think, if there was one team that could beat the Dodgers that's not named the Padres, right, in the playoffs, it's definitely the Phillies. Atlanta Braves are always going to be in the mix as well. Braves and Phillies are trying to play spoiler, as well as the Padres over the Dodgers. But, if we're being real, the Dodgers should make the World Series pretty often with Shohei, as long as he's healthy. As long as they have Mookie and Freddie and Shohei, and they keep, spending all that money on all the players, they should be the favored team for, and they're not going to probably make it every year. There's going to be, years where someone else makes it. Padres, Phillies, Braves, someone, Diamondbacks, right? Someone else will make it. But the thing is if some other team makes it, are they actually going to win it all? Or is the American League team going to win? The Mets, obviously are going to be much better now with Juan Soto there. The Mets could end up, being a team that maybe gets slept on a little bit. But they're going to bring the hype. If you look at Francisco Lindor, depending on if Pete Alonso stays or goes, you got Juan Soto, might not be able to play the greatest defense, but he can sure hit like a motherfucker, right? Juan Soto is going to put up some monster fucking numbers for New York, going from the Yankees to the Mets. And again, I wouldn't be shocked if the Mets, made it all the way to play the Dodgers in the, NLCS. That would not shock me. The Mets could make it further than the Yankees this year. Yankees had a couple add-ons with Bellinger and whatnot, but again, the main reason that the Yankees made it as far as they did was the trio, of having Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, but then giving you someone that was better than Stanton and Juan Soto. And, obviously having Garrett Cole and, having the pitching staff and the good supporting cast, that always helps. Captain with a 5-0. Well, I watched both games already. Did you watch any of their games yet? I've watched both their games in spring training already. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, a little cactus jack, bang, bang. I think first off, we have to be realistic, knowing that, we're going to lose games, right? And, we haven't really made a lot of moves. So the Mariner organization hasn't helped us. With that being said, we could always overachieve and get to 90 wins, right? And get to 90 and 72. And if we can do that, instead of shooting for 95, 100, or, again, we got a great pitching staff, but of course we have to assume there's going to be injuries. We have to assume that the hitting isn't going to improve that much, even though we hope that it will. But again, with Robles, Randy Arozarena, Julio, Cal, the pitching staff, there's a chance, but there's question marks at first, second, third, and short. And if we can figure out the right combination of offense and defense with those guys, call up a couple farm guys, Harry Ford, Lazaro Montes, Cole Young, Colt Emerson, whatever, there's a chance that we could not only, make the wild card, but we might be able to win the AL West. And if we make it, right, we could overachieve on any given year, right? Even if we're a wild card team, 88 to 90 wins, the Mariners with the pitching staff, you have to understand, when the Mariners score 3 runs, only 3, a bare minimum, you need like 4 or 5 to win games now. The Mariners at home, when we scored 3 or more, we're 43-7. Think about that for a second. We didn't make the playoffs last year. So we just need to figure out the hitting part, right? And if we can score 3 runs or more, which is nothing, I mean, hell, we could end up having some insane fucking record, and then also, we got to be better on the road as well. Playing at home is one thing, but we don't want to waste the pitching talent. We don't want to waste the prime of Cal and Julio. We want to get the most out of Kirby and Bryce Miller. Could be the year of Brian Wu. We'll see how it goes. 92-55, going pretty good here. I mean, if I say Flowers, normally I'm talking like Zay, but if we're not talking, football, and I bring up Flowers, we're talking about Rip City, obviously known for our roses here in the Pacific Northwest. What do you want to see for photos, Captain? We're at 15, 85 to go. I mean, we put up not a whole lot. Samad Taylor had a home run late in the first game where we lost. Bang! What a flush. Tumani Kamara with the fucking throwdown. Let's go. Tumani. Bringing the electricity. Stolen. Go Scoot. Go Scoot. Sharp. Sharp with the jab step, one-on-one baseline. Now it's kind of like an and one type of game here. Corner three by Tumani is good. Get the fuck out of here. Everyone is balling out of control. 98-57. Is that good? But again, Mariners were able to hit. But again, when the game is close and you have a bunch of comebacks, right, and then at some point you get up, 10-9. It's the bottom of the ninth. It was 8-8, then 9-8. Then it went 10-9 Mariners. I'm like, hell yeah. Bottom of the ninth, we're going to win by one. And then what happens? We end up fucking up. And then it ends up being 10-9. Uh-oh. 10-10. Uh-oh, it's tied. And then the next batter, 11-10. And then we lost. But to at least get to 10, that was a good sign. Of things, hopefully, that will be a little bit more consistent hitting. But again, this is spring training. You just want to be able to evaluate the players. And again, I think starting out the year, we still have questions at DH, questions at second and, third and short. But for a lot of Mariner fans, we know that there's going to be some disappointment. But again, there could be some magic this year. Tumani kicks it out. Shaden Sharp, jab step. 3 is good. Oh, my. 101-57 Blazers. Shay. 16 points, 6 for 10, 4 for 7 from deep. Is that good? Damn right it is. This is the biggest game that, as far as, point total, this is the biggest lead we've had all year. Jacob in the building. What's good? Oh, absolutely. I mean, Guardians going in will be probably higher rated, than us. But again, definitely looking forward to the Stephen Kwan and, everyone grinding it out in that matchup. Obviously, we end up, playing our best when we play the best. So I definitely like rooting for you guys. And, hopefully that at the end of the year, we'll both be in the playoffs. And who knows? We might end up even playing each other. Yeah, Capo Caco ended up, heading that first goal. It was great to have us win on the road. And against the Florida Panthers. It's one thing to win on the road even against a shitty team, but to win on the road against one of the best, I definitely was not expecting that in the first game after the Four Nations face-off, but I'll fucking take it. Oh boy just won $500 at the Blazer game. Hitting jumpers. I'm telling you, people in the Pacific Northwest, we got some ballers out here, even people in the stands. Great job. Let's go Kraken. And we got great announcers for the Blazers. That makes it more enjoyable. Some NBA announcers are fucking terrible. Kevin Calabro is one of the best on planet Earth, not just Blazers. He used to do the Sonics. Lamar Hurd, as his color guy. At first it was a little bit of an adjustment to get used to. Besides Mike and Mike that we used to have back in the day, but now, they are one of the best duos as far as basketball is concerned. And again, anytime they end up having a filler replacement for Lamar or Kevin, you definitely notice it, and it's not in a good way. All Blazers all the time. Let's go. $103.61. I can't even tell you the last time the fucking Blazers had 100 in the third quarter. Like, we're talking about some rare air right now. Let's go. I was hoping that the Hornets were going to, Bridges and LaMelo and Nurk were going to go crazy. And I figured it was going to, maybe the Blazers would be up right now, but they'd be up by like 10. Not Blazers up by like 50 or 40, but I'll take it. Like, sub, donate, comment, share, help your boy out. Nurk, floater is good. And I always like seeing former Blazers come back. I root for them to play well, especially if they didn't badmouth the team. It was just kind of like a trade or, it just didn't work out. We had you for a few years. You bounced around from a couple different teams and whatnot. And there was always rumors about Nurk and DA. And, maybe one day instead of having Nurk, we would have DA. But earlier on, the trade never kind of came to fruition. And then later we got DA and now he's hurt. But cool seeing Nurk out there. Probably not the most ideal spot for him. I imagine he would probably still want to, be on the Blazers or maybe be on the Suns still. But, that's the NBA. It's a business. Fast break off the steal. A little Euro hop. I don't know why they didn't call travel there. Cubs. Yeah, I watched a little bit with the Cubs and the Dodgers. I don't know if you've been watching any yet. So the first one on Mariners Twitter, they had an MLB.com stream link, right? And then on this last one, if you were going to watch the game, you had to watch it through Angels broadcast. And holy fuck, the Angels broadcasters, even if it's just spring training, fucking terrible. Like, I would rather just mute them, and then if I could find like Riz on the radio, Riz is awesome. Like, for the Seattle Mariners for the radio. And again, even though Sims went to New York and Blowers, they pushed him out. I thought Blowers was pretty good for the color, and I didn't mind Sims. Some people didn't like him. I didn't mind him. But Goldie obviously has got the swagger, and he's young, but he's got an amazing, voice. You don't really hear too many guys in their 30s or 40s that are as good as guys that are 50, 60, 70, 80 that have been doing it for years and years and years. But that's what Goldie is. And hopefully we can keep him forever. He does have Cardinal St. Louis ties growing up. So if he ever does leave the Mariners, obviously it would be to the Cardinals. And then Sarah would be able to enjoy Goldie on the mic. But, Sims ended up being radio for New York, where he's from. And I wish him the best as well. But having shitty announcers in sports is terrible. Like, how do they get paid doing this? Like, you get paid being terrible? Jeez. It's like one thing if you're wrong all the time, like a weatherman or a weatherwoman, you still get paid bank and you're wrong all the time. But golly. Some of these people that do play-by-play in color have no business on being on TV, period. Yeah, the main reason is because of the age. That's why we didn't sign him, But again, at least the people that are important, Justin Turner is a great guy in the clubhouse. But again, anytime a guy is like 40, depending on the dollar amount, and we haven't really been a team that is actually willing to pay. So if you can get someone, similar in stats, but you maybe less, half in payroll, instead of paying like $5 million a year or $5 to $8 million, you get a guy for like 3 to 4, 5. Mariners are cheap. You know how they operate. 109.66 Blazers. Sharp at the top of the key. Blazers still playing with some intensity. Good to see. Nurk at the top of the key. Backdoor cut. Nice pass. Up and under. Layup is good. Nice dime there by Yusuf Nurkic. Now, we got some Braves fans on the channel. When we end up doing some Braves games, not just Seattle Mariners versus the Atlanta Braves, but there'll be probably at least a game or two that I'll do of the Braves. Also, it really depends on who the Dodgers are matching up, because I'll go Mariners first, and then if they have the day off, then I'll probably go Dodgers for my dad, because he's been a fan since the 50s, and then, any other good quality matchup. But we normally do a couple Braves games a year, and I enjoy them. I'm very familiar with the roster and whatnot. And then plus you got some of our, guys on the team like Jared Kelenic, so I'm always going to be kind of curious to see how everything goes with former Mariners. Nice layout by Walker there. But I love grandpa kind of voices in sports. You have to be really good for me to like you if you're like 30, 40, 50 years old. Like, compared to some of the older, voices, that we are used to for like, baseball or football, basketball, hockey. It takes a very special, well-versed individual, not only to have a soothing voice, but to be intelligent, and to be able to work with another individual, and have it flow nicely. But, Goldie, as far as being one of the young announcers in sports, he might be one of the best. Again, it may not be, nobody's going to be on the level of Gus and Joel, right? Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt, but there's a few people that are pretty extremely talented. Deep three rejected by the Blazers. Shot clock violation, Hornets. Oh, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing the Mets. I'm very familiar with their roster as well, with the Polar Bear, Pete Alonso, right? Francisco Lindor, and then obviously being able to see what Juan Soto does. Soto's going to bring a swagger and energy to the Mets, and don't be surprised if the Mets go further than the Yankees this year. Obviously, the loss of Soto, and you brought in a few guys, Bellinger, and they had some decent signings, but, you got to think, the Yankees made the World Series last year. I don't think they're going to make it this year. They could still make the playoffs, but I don't really have the Yankees penciled in as going back to the World Series against the Dodgers again. There's a good opportunity for someone else to come out of the American League. But the Dodgers should be the team that is favored to make it, and again, anyone that's not a Dodger fan is praying that it's the Padres, the Braves, the Phillies, or anybody but the Dodgers. But, you spend that kind of money and you have some of the best players on planet Earth, Mookie, Freddie, Shohei pitching and hitting. I mean, really the only thing you can kind of hope for is that the players get hurt. Not seriously injured and, they're on their deathbed, but just like banged up a little bit. And if they get banged up enough with Mookie, Freddie, Shohei, and the pitching staff, then yeah, they could be good, but then end up losing to a team that's healthier in the playoffs. That might be the only thing that the National League teams can root for, is that they end up getting a little banged up at the wrong time. And then a team that's hot and healthy going into the playoffs, ends up surprising them, whoever that may be. But I would not be surprised if the Dodgers don't win a couple more World Series, especially with the players they have, in the bullpen, in the dugout, and, in that farm system as well. Yeah, Max Fried, we'll see how he adjusts there. Yeah. I think, like I said, I think the Yankees could go, to the playoffs, and they could go pretty far, but I just don't know if they'll go as far as they did with Judge Soto and Giancarlo. Again, they've added some pretty, decent additions, but we'll see how they mesh, all together. Sometimes it takes a couple years to mesh, Not everyone is going to be a Juan Soto, be good on any team that he goes to right away. Dude, but that's a great signing, though. Jurickson Profar, was good and ended up going to the Rockies, came back, turned into an all-star player. Like, he's going to be awesome for you guys. Like, again, I would take Profar on the Mariners. Our buddy Elliot on the channel, that's like his favorite player. He loves Yu Darvish. He loves Jurickson Profar. And when he finally came back to the Padres, he was excited. And then, let alone, just a few months later now, going to the Braves. But that could be one of those missing pieces on the Braves that helps you, if not get past the Dodgers, but, get you further than maybe the Braves have gone the last couple of years. So, but as long as he doesn't get hurt, that could be an amazing signing. And he could end up being an all-star for you. Like, he'll make everyone around you better. Good at offense, good at defense, a guy that you can root for. I think he'll surprise you. It's a very underrated signing with Profar. Uh, 6-0. You gotta be able to watch Cardinals, you and Sarah. Right? It's you, Sarah, and John. You gotta keep up. Obviously, people work, people have a schedule, but you can still keep up. Box score. If you can't watch the game, try to find stuff on social media, any type of highlight, whatnot. But, for me, I do this as a full-time job, so I got to fucking watch everything. I got to be up on everything. I can't be watching other channels. I can't be watching, broken down versions of the game. It's like, I got to fucking watch the tape. I got to really evaluate with my own eyes. And, anything that you ever hear on this channel is never someone else, point of view or someone else's take. It's always 100% authentic here. I mean, there's a lot of people that come here, steal what we say here, and then apply it to their channel or wherever their TV is, whatever programming they're on, NFL Network or wherever, People know who put in the work and who don't. 109.68 Blazers. Yeah, but at least you guys spend money. Imagine being the Mariners, right? Having some of the greatest players on planet Earth to ever lace them up, right? And we've never been to a World Series. Our owner refuses to spend money. We got arguably the best 1 through 5 rotation in baseball. And if you don't think it's number one, it's definitely top 5, and, budding superstars and Julio and Cal, it's crazy, man. We have the number 1 farm system. Like, if we could just get 2 more bats, all-star caliber type of players or even role players, like how much of a difference that could be for Seattle. So, I mean, at least with the Braves, you've been able to do things, whether it be in the, John Smoltz, Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, Steve Avery era, your boy knows, Ron Gant, I can name drop for days, Sid Bream, your boy knows, David Justice, your boy knows, But Ronald Acuna, obviously losing Freddie Freeman, again, the replacement that you have in Olsen, stat-wise is pretty similar. But as far as aura, it's not the same. Olsen can put up bigger numbers or similar numbers, 40, 50 home runs. But I feel like the overall aura, Freddie Freeman is like a baseball god, like he does things on a different level. And it would have been awesome if he would have stayed an Atlanta Brave forever. And if he would have, maybe the Braves have more championships now rather than him going to the Dodgers and helping them get one with Mookie. But again, Mookie leaving Boston and Freddie leaving Atlanta, that was huge for the Dodgers, grabbing Hall of Fame players that were already amazing and breaking records for their current team. And then the Dodgers said, hey, come over here and we're going to win some championships. Ohtani, come over here. And now, they have the powerhouse. And I imagine a lot of other baseball fans are saying, God damn, I wish MLB had a salary cap, but that's just how it goes. Oh, yeah, man. Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar Martinez, Tino Martinez, Harold Reynolds, Joey Cora, Dave Valley, Dan Wilson, Daniel in the building. But I mean, if we're talking about the best players to ever play for us, Griffey, Randy Johnson, Edgar Martinez, Ichiro, and now with like Julio and Cal and this generation with a chance of like, Logan Gilbert and George Kirby and Brian Wu really making huge names for themselves, as well as Bryce Miller. But Cal and Julio have a chance to be Hall of Famers. And if the pitching staff continues to keep getting better, we might even have a couple pitchers that could be considered for Hall of Fame, depending on how the next 10 to 15 years goes. We're in the fourth quarter now, 111-68 Blazers. Oh, yeah, Bo is insane. I mean, watching Bo as a kid, you're never going to see an athlete better than Bo. Bo was an all-star in baseball and in football. Dion played both, But Dion was just a average to above average baseball player, but football player, the greatest corner to ever live to some people, right? But for baseball, he wasn't on the same level as he was when he was on the Braves, and he was impactful, stealing bases and getting singles, but he wasn't, what Bo Jackson was, where Bo could hit home runs, single, double, triple. He could climb a wall and rob home runs. Like Bo, was one of the greatest athletes that we have ever seen and will ever see. Like even to this day, it would have to be like someone like LeBron James, playing in the NFL and in the NBA. That might be the only guy that we could have said, whoa, this guy could have been Bo Jackson, LeBron James. Because I think people, whether you love LeBron or hate LeBron, LeBron could play. Like if LeBron was tight end in the NFL, he could be one of the best tight ends ever. Like if he was able to stay injury free and actually get the ball, like LeBron could have, been like a Travis Kelce or a George Kittle. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. The guy is, that freakish athlete, and he's got good hands. He's definitely a guy that could have made a name for himself. But, the NBA schedule, 82 games, and the NFL, probably not going to ever happen. If you're going to get it, it has to be baseball, football based on the seasons. It'd be a very, very special player that would be able to, do football and basketball. More than likely, if we ever get another phenom, it'll be baseball and football again. Like I want to be able to see someone in my lifetime that can pitch left-handed, right-handed, and hit left-handed, right-handed, all in one player. That's what I want to see one day. And won by the Hornets. But I think Celtics, Cavs, Nuggets, Thunder. That's what it's looking like right now. Still plenty of time, for those rankings to change. But to me, those look like the most quality, well-rounded teams that actually give a shit, play defense, get rebounds, and then have enough talent to make it. Nice layup by the Hornets there. 115-73. Blazers. Of course, dude. Jim Abbott. I got baseball cards of him on the Angels, and again had the no-hitter there with the Yankees. I actually got quite a few of his cards and whatnot. I'm a nerd, man. Like sometimes I go back and just look at old cards, and again I look at the front, but then I would flip it over to the back and memorize all the stats. And again, if I wasn't like that, what a dunk by Scoot! I definitely wouldn't have all the sports knowledge as I do. That was, and I don't think you're going to have too many people like me. There's people that collected cards, but I don't think there's a lot of people, growing up back in the 80s and 90s that really took, stats to that level, But again, I'm at where I'm at because of it. So, I played video games like a motherfucker. I am half Asian and all. I'm Japanese, right? So definitely had my days of playing, Mario or Metroid or Zelda or Tecmo Super Bowl or Arch Rivals or whatever, Mortal Kombat. Your boy had plenty of time on the Atari 2600, on the NES, on the Sega. Floater is good. Nice job by Shay. I played video games sometimes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours straight. I'm just like the typical Asian kid, right? But again, wrestling figures, G.I. Joes, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, they got time too. But the cards, though, that was a big passion. Still is. Scoot at the top of the key. 117.75. Oh, man, we are on fire tonight, baby. We are on fire tonight. Nice job, Scoot. 120-75. This is the biggest shellacking we've had all season. And normally we're getting shellacked instead of being the shellacker. Let's go. We're going to start getting our bench guys in there now. I can't believe we're up by 45. We're almost up by 50. Like we're actually bringing guys in from the crowd now. Like they're not even on the team. They're just putting a jersey on random people. Let's go. Let's get to 20, baby. Like, remember, the Mariners did draft a pitcher that can pitch left and right, and we probably will never see him as a starting pitcher, but we might see him in the bullpen. And again, we get Matt Brash back healthy. I'm excited, and we'll see what ends up happening for us. Yeah, and again, Ball normally is a guy that's going to put up 30 plus. So for him to, not be involved, I don't put a guy on the thumb, thinking that he's going to go and have a terrible game. Like, if anything, I was excited to see him go for 30 to 50 tonight, But again, playing here tonight after the All-Star break, Scoot being back, and, we definitely dominated here tonight. Oh, yeah, I love Tecmo games. I played Tecmo NBA basketball. Love that. Tecmo Bowl, Tecmo Super Bowl. I still own these games. Bases Loaded 2, Bases Loaded 3. Baseball Stars, RBI Baseball. I mean, I can name drop games and players for days on end. Wrestlers. I mean, anything you want to talk about for the 80s and 90s, you start it, I'll finish it. All off the top. I like playing old school NES games and Sega games and Nintendo 64. And then my favorite throwback is PS2. I feel like PS2 is like incredibly underrated. Again, obviously you have the PS5 and you got the Xbox, but I feel like PS2, Nintendo 64, and Sega Dreamcast are like incredibly underrated. And again, I only have one regret out of all my systems that I ever sold, and I own still most of my systems, right, is the Sega Dreamcast. That system is undefeated. It's incredible. Like, I have to get the fishing game, right, with the lure, the reel as the controller where it vibrates. The Sega Bass Fishing Tournament. Oh my God, I got to get that. I got to get that fucking controller. They have a great listing for games on the Dreamcast. Super underrated system. Yeah. And I've always been a PlayStation guy. I only bought the Xbox once. It got the red eye on the 360, and then I've never really invested in Xbox since. But I was one of the first ones at my school to get PlayStation. I waited in line at Electronic Fries for like 4 hours, to get the PS2 on the launch day. They had 50. There was like 500 people in the parking lot, and I was literally number 50. I got the last PlayStation 2 on its debut. I remember I bought an extra controller, Madden 2001, and maybe another game, but whatever they had available there. But NHL 2001, Madden 2001. But again, I started playing video games, when they first started, on Atari 2600, Pong, like that was my life, and then playing some of the other games that got better, like Jungle Hunt was like the last Atari 2600 game before I got like Nintendo, Mario 1, Mario 2, Mario 3, game changing. And then getting PlayStation and playing Resident Evil, mind blown. Zombies, shoot them in half, they keep crawling after you. Music, graphics, polygons, 3D, are you kidding me? I mean, I thought I was in heaven playing Mario 64 for the first time, and Zelda, and the wrestling games. WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy, and then fucking PlayStation, golly. Oh, big three at the top, 126.76. Let's go. We're up by 50, baby. But again, that's why I think I have such a good perspective on things, because my generation grew up pre-internet and at the birth of video games and saw the evolution of the internet and video games. But, we were one of the last generations that actually, went outside. Not everyone had a cell phone when they were like 8. In my generation, a lot of people didn't get their cell phone until high school. That was when they first got cell phones for a lot of people. It was either at the end of junior high, but for a lot of people, it was when they turned like 14. 14, 15, maybe you got a cell phone at that point, a little Nokia, back in the day, right? But, things are different in my generation, hard work, discipline, but also understanding how things need to change and, seeing the evolution of things, and having to be able to, read a lot and understand where the future is going. And luckily, starting the channel when I did was the right decision. I've been grinding for a long, long time. And, when you have dreams and goals, you got to grind. And I gave myself, a goal of 10 years to make it before I went full time. I didn't, get cocky and be like, oh, I'm going to grind for 2 years and I'm going to be full time for the rest of my life. Like, I knew it was going to take time, and I've had to, evolve many, many times. But to be able to watch games, and talk to y'all and have this be my job for the rest of my life. I put a lot of effort, 13 years and counting, 9 on YouTube. We just broke 2,400 live streams and videos just since 2017. just a lot of videos, a lot of live streams, right? 4.1 million. We're trying to get closer to 4.2 million views. And obviously we're at almost at 20,800, and we're going to keep grinding and keep going. Floater. Ooh, Walker with a nice layup is good. Man, we are just pounding the shit out of these guys. 99 and had a pager. Old school. Stolen. Looks like one of the Blazer players collided. Get up. Alley-oop. Get up. Off the glass and good. Dude, even our backups are making shots. It's like I feel like we got, Wayne Cooper in there from back in the day. Mark Bryant. And, Jerome Kersey and Buck Williams need a breather. Oh, bring in Ala Abdelnaby, Ramon Ramos, Danny Young. It's cool to be able to see backups actually play well. We're at 15, 85 to go. Oh, yeah. Wayne Gretzky hockey. Ken Griffey Jr. had a hockey game or a baseball game on there as well. He had some. Famous people had some games on there. That's when you know that you're an OG, bro. Like me. Right? When you're 40 and up, you're in that OG class. This is unbelievable. 131.78. You fucking kidding me? Rip City, baby. Little full court press. And obviously it's backups versus backups at this point. You're not going to be seeing fucking LaMelo Ball out there anymore, which is a damn shame. I was hoping to see him for 4 full quarters with Bridges and Nurk, but hey, I'll take an ass whooping like this. We're up by 53. Is that good? Oh, Sonic is undefeated. Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic with Knuckles. Just the sound of going in a circle and collecting the coins. I can still hear it right now. Great replay value in games like that. Or like Double Dragon, Streets of Rage, side-scrolling games. Undefeated, man. That's why whenever I go to the arcade here in downtown with my friend Justin, we try to find like those old-school side-scrolling games. X-Men, the arcade game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, games like that where we can play it together, Simpsons, and beat it. Sunset Riders. And then every once in a while, during the NBA Hang Time, and NBA Jam, NFL Blitz. Under 5 minutes to go. Little reach-in foul by Charlotte. 131.80 Blazers. Oh, yeah. I still own it to this day. GoldenEye, Perfect Dark. Yeah, GoldenEye, the music. Like, you can still play GoldenEye to this day, and it's fucking amazing. I heard that they're going to be doing, like, a next-gen remake, and that will probably be insane. But the music and the levels, you could play multiplayer, but you could play, like, solo and be, like, actually have fun doing the missions. It's like Grand Theft Auto, but funner. It's like there's not very many games where you can do the solo missions and actually have a blast. Like you could get a 6-pack of Mountain Dew, right? Sit there with some chips, Cheetos, or whatever your favorites are, and just like fucking make a night of it, dude. 64 undefeated. I still got like 10, 12, 64 games. I got a 64 case. The wrestling games. We got some Star Wars games like Rogue Squadron. Mario Tennis was incredibly underrated back then. The wrestling games are some of the best of all time. WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy. WCW, NWO Revenge. So you actually get to use the NWO and the WCW characters. Incredible. Turok. Fuck, man. There's just so many amazing games, man. It's cool to be able to, go back to those old school times. I think that's why I like the 80s and 90s so much. And I always like to go back to that era, watching shows and cartoons and collecting toys from that era. Because that was the era, that things were the best. Free throw is good. 133-82. This one is getting close. Hornets, they just need a couple 10-pointers and they're back in it. Floater. In and out, no good. Tipping is good. 134-82. Oh, yeah. I got Blitz on the original PlayStation that I can play on the PlayStation 2. It's amazing. It's still hard. Like, you can still win, but at the arcade, I am deadly at Blitz or Hang Time. Like, I am deadly. Just like at beer pong. Deadly. Let me tell you. 133, 82. No. 135, 82. I wish the Blazers could play like this for all the time. Yeah, I used to play Grand Theft Auto at my friend's house on the computer on the PC. 1 and 2 were like that. And they were awesome. And then when 3 came out and it was like full levels, it was like mind-blowing. You're like, holy fuck. Like the top view was cool with the sound effects and the missions and whatnot. And it was like, you know, playing with like micro machines from up above. And then all of a sudden you get like a 3D world doing the fucking missions and driving the cars and all the weapons. Oh, unbelievable. I still own it here. I'm a Vice City guy, though. That's like my favorite. But one game that I need to buy, and I've told this in the past, besides the Dreamcast and the fishing game, I need to get San Andreas. I've never owned San Andreas. I need to play that from the very beginning and try to beat it. Like, that's the mission in life. If I'm going to go back and play an old school throwback game, San Andreas. Yeah, I got Tekken Tag on the PS2. Still holds up to this day. Unlocked all the characters, like 60 characters available. That still plays like an arcade game, you know, in the studio here. Turn it up. Still know all the moves pretty much by heart too. Some stuff, it's just like riding a bike. It never leaves you. All right, we got less than 3 minutes to go. Blazers up by 50. Yes, I said that. Blazers up by 50, not down by 50. We're at 15, 85 to go, and I don't know what we're at on the likes, but hopefully we're at 20 at least. Stolen by the Hornets. Fast break, 2-on-2. Block his ass, and layup is good. Now you got a bunch of these backups versus backups here. Little pick and roll. Pass to the outside. Reef for 3, in and out, no good. Hornets with the board. And at this point, if the Hornets could even get to 100, that would be saving a little bit of the embarrassment, but I don't think there's enough time for them. 137-88, Blazers. These backups in are funny. Backdoor cut, layup, in and out, no good. Reef with the rebound. Reef looks like some kind of like college player or like some, you know, definitely D-League kind of player. That looks a little loppy out there, but his effort has been amazing. 6 points, good on the offensive board, almost traveling there. Backdoor cut, layup, and 1 is good. Yeah, I don't have too many of the Star Wars games. I have Rogue Squadron, and I think I might have another one for the 64. But GoldenEye is a vibe. Like anyone that grew up in that era, I swear, if you hook that up to a TV and make like a night of it or a couple hours of it, it'll definitely give you the feels that you have been missing. Epic game, man. Still got the rumble packs and the fucking the memory cards. Getting a little sloppy out there. We got a minute to go. 141-88 Blazers. Perfect Dark was amazing as well. Nice flush and dunk by the Blazers. I see you, Williams. 21, there we go. And then tomorrow we'll be live at noon for the Embedda 400 Atlanta Super Speedway. Napa, no how. Chase Elliott's hometown state. He won it in Atlanta a couple years ago. Hopefully he can do it again. But Trucks was fun today. Xfinity was fun. Mariners was fun until we lost the lead in the bottom of the ninth and lost 11-10, being up 10-9. Reef with a dunk. There we go. Nice flush by Reef. Everyone's loving it. Reef looking like a loppy Jermaine O'Neal out there, and I love it. Dude, seriously, I don't know if the last time that we scored a fucking 141. What? Field goal percentage, almost 60% for the Blazers tonight. 59.3, amazing. 65 bench points for the Blazers. All the way. Layup off the glass. No goaltending there? Fuck. We got 15 seconds left. Yeah, man. I used to have like the original Pokemon. We used to play that shit at school. Like when the first one came out on like the Game Boy Color or whatever it was on at that time. Red cartridge, blue cartridge. I worked at the KB toy stores back in the day, so I remember when all that shit came out. Nice job, Blazers. Final score, Portland Trailblazers 141, Charlotte Hornets 88. We fucking destroyed them. Well, he did win the truck race today, and he didn't get booed. He actually got cheered. So he definitely has made a name for himself after leaving M&M's, and he's won the most at that Atlanta track. And sad that Frankie Muniz wasn't able to finish the race. He ended up wrecking and whatnot, but he had to earn it, right there at the end, but he got the dub, just like in the Xfinity race as well with Hill. He had to earn it there in the last lap. So, but we'll be live tomorrow at 12 noon for Atlanta. Happening, no how. So if you want to hang out with your boy, please do. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Shout out to all the people that liked, sub, donated, commented, shared. Final score, Blazers 141, Hornets 88. Is that real? We won by how much? How much did we win by? 50 what? 53? Holy moly. I don't know if I've ever remembered something like that. But I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much. Blazers with a big, big win. And a lot of records broken. Hang out with your boy tomorrow for NASCAR Cup Series. Love ya, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Watch NASCAR with me tomorrow at noon. Appreciate you, Sarah, for helping out. Captain, Megan, thank you for the support. And I'm out. Okay. That man. Peace out, brother.